And since we're plugging ASIC, you like my hat? If you want some
I
merch,
do.
our new merch. And
I'm loving it.
See,
I love
the hat. I love the hat. Nice little, defending American exceptionalism. But what I really like is I think the eagle is badass.
I'm feeling the eagle. I'm definitely feeling the eagle. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of eagle paraphernalia because America.
Wait
tote
for
bag.
it.
Okay.
Nice tote bag.
Hey.
Right.
And it's holding the scales of justice.
Really?
And
so, folks, we have a new line of merch.
You guys see that? That's super cool.
You want to see it again? Come on. You want to see it again?
Yeah, everybody's look at that. That's cool. It's not even just an eagle. It's like got more stuff in it. That's super cool.
That's right. Yeah.
I like it.
Good you have your glasses on today. So
hey,
we have all sorts of cool merch. And by the way, we have all sorts of cool merch for Israel Appreciation Day. We're coming out with a line of the people stuff. So, want to be cool?
So y'all need to go to asicfund.org. asicfund.org. Go to the link that says, wait, hold on. Let me show hold on. Check it out. So if you go to asicfund.org website, merch, link right there, boom, stuff. Buy it.
Stuff. Cool stuff.
There's Robert's hat. There's the mug. I'm feeling it. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to get
Which one is that?
The fleece. Does it come in that green color? That is a cool color.
It says dark ash.
Oh, is that gray? Okay, y'all. Apparently, I either need to get my eyes checked or need to get my computer monitor checked. Good to know. Good to know.
All right. So let's jump back though. Beyond the early victories and the executive orders and the feel-good part of all of this, we need to keep our eye on the ball. Not only that executive orders can be reversed, but the end game here is not securing the borders. It's the borders, language, culture, and the things we talked about. But the end game here internationally is not even Iran. The end game is China. Right. It's going to be interesting because Trump, I don't know if you saw, Trump just put out that if he gets assassinated, he's left orders to basically nuke and obliterate Iran because there was a plot to assassinate Trump launched by Iran during the election cycle. I don't know if
that was legitimate.
That. Oh, that was really legitimate.
I just assumed that it was the deep state using one of our enemies as a cover. I just assume everything is a psyop.
Can you put on your tinfoil hat? Do you have your tinfoil hat today? Come on. By the way, one thing I can tell you is we do not have tinfoil hats. But when you look at around the world, you look at the issue with Panama and even the issue of Greenland. That the reason that these are relevant is because it all leads back to China. Right. And it all leads back to the so far game of cold power or Cold War, to coin a phrase from back in the 70s into the 80s, that's going on between China and us. The problem is that under the prior administration, there was sort of this tacit look the other way. Okay, we don't really want to confront them. And now there's a new guy in the office. And I think things change. And that's why, because China now has a fleet up in the Arctic. China is, putting, bases in the Southern Hemisphere. Oh, yeah. China has the Belt and Road Initiative. China, and if you look at what's going on in the Panama Canal, they're actually building this bridge in the middle of the canal, right? And Senator Cruz went on record as saying the concern is if there's a military engagement with China and we've got to send Navy ships through there. You've got China on both ends of the canal and they're building a bridge in the middle. It's not done yet, but that, oh, you didn't look that up? Look it up. Oh, yeah.
What? Come on, bro. Like, come on.
See, you need me to enlighten you to these things.
Come on.
You need me to enlighten you.
Like, this is the thing is I consider myself reasonably well informed. How did I not know that there was a problem with the Panama Canal? Like,
I'm listening.
It's just
Is it?
every time
Is
we
it?
have a
Is it time?
conversation, it just feels. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if it's time for the blue lipstick.
It is time for the blue lipstick because I just can't believe it. It's like it feels intentional. Every time you learn something, it's like how you want me to not be a conspiracy theorist, not you, but they want, I'm a conspiracy nut if I acknowledge that they do weird stuff but they do weird stuff. I'm just not supposed to notice. The government.
Who's they? The problem is that the government didn't do the weird stuff. The problem is that the government didn't do stuff that they should do under the prior administration, right? I mean that look, that's the thing with Trump. So what I want to, however, shift the focus to, because some of this has to do with China, is I assume you heard what was going on at USAID, right?
Oh yeah.
U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. If you remember, one of our close friends, Bonnie Glick used to be the deputy director there, not during these years, of course, that are in question. But Trump is now going to defund parts of the USAID and move the other parts of it into the State Department under under Secretary Rubio, who is now the acting head of USAID. So let me read you some of the reasons, where the money was going to. Hang on, let me find my little cheat sheet here because there's too much of this.
You guys, this is
your tax dollars
stuff. Yeah, and this is when people, 99.9% of things that come out of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's mouth are incorrect. However, the 0.01% of things that are correct is when she rightfully chastises our government for the manipulation that we do in other countries. And this is an example of it.
So under the USAID, sort of the waste and abuse and by the way, do you pronounce it Doge? How do you pronounce it? Is it Doge or Doge? What is it? Doge? Okay. Shows you what I know. So we have spent $1.5 million of tax dollars to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplace and business communities. That's one thing with USAID. We have invested $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam.
What?
Okay. Wait, it gets better.
Why?
No. Wait. I mean, I can go through let me give you my favorites. One of my favorites is we've invested $2 million. We have given $2 million for sex changes and LGBTQ activism in Guatemala. I'm sorry.
I can't.
So I guess what they were trying to do is have a safe haven, because if you outlawed sex change operations in some states, you can just give them plane tickets to Guatemala.
Go on to Guatemala.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny. But it's so incredulous that it's. I mean, excuse me, it's right up there with this. Here's my avocado. Right?
Oh my God.
So let's keep going. So.
But, this is what you're working so hard for, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, you would also think that you don't want to help your enemy, right? That's what you would think. So we have given, the USAID has given hundreds of millions of dollars to fund, quote, irrigation canals, farming equipment, and fertilizer used to support poppy cultivation and heroin production in Afghanistan. It's really, they're not really to support heroin production. That's not accurate.
What?
They're supporting the cultivation of poppy, which is their main agricultural, product. In Afghanistan, who runs Afghanistan now?
The freaking ISIS or freaking whatever the
Taliban.
Taliban.
Taliban, those guys. So after a hellacious failed withdrawal in Afghanistan, where we left behind people who support us, we left behind equipment, we left behind all sorts of things. The Taliban take over. We're still sending hundreds of millions of dollars to help them cultivate poppy. right? And the poppy is what you use to make
First
heroin.
of all, why are we helping them? Yeah, why are we helping them cultivate heroin?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, your
I get
tax
it.
dollars hard at work making your neighbors junkies. I love it. It's great.
Right. So what, and you can pull this up. So what Trump is now doing is he is going to take functions from USAID and put them under the auspices of the State Department. I'm sure he'll cancel some as well. But again, this is a radical, not in a bad sense, but when I say a radical restructuring, which is, I think, what everybody voted for, right? But again, some of this you can do by executive order, and certainly if it's within the executive branch, it's totally within his purview. But on certain things in the executive order, you have to pass laws. If you want to make these changes permanent, you have to pass laws and that's a harder process to do, and it involves compromise. You're not going to get everything you want.
Yeah.
But that's USAID.
Yeah,
it's the hot burning item right now.
Well, and this is the thing is, I always laugh whenever there are budget conversations and you'll hear people justify, oh, well, who cares about this, that, and the other thing when, 75% of our budget is entitlements and servicing the debt. I think it's actually more than that now, but
no, 75% of our budget, is entitlement. So the great entitlement debate is two things and only two things: Social Security and Medicare / Obamacare, Medicare, Medicaid. That's the entitlement. That's 2/3 of the U.S. budget. The rest of it, servicing the debt, is why we're running into deficit.
And so they will, Congress people will say, oh, well, why are we fighting over the 5% of the budget that we actually have any control of when the majority of it is this and this? And I was like, well, first of all, the fact that you're telling us that 75% are these entitlements, it kind of sounds like we do already have public health care. I'm just saying, like, that is, but moving on from there, why wouldn't you cut from anywhere? Like, it's that kind of, well, since we can't cut the waste and fraud from these other things, we can't cut waste and fraud from this other stuff. We just have to deal with it. I mean, that is literally the thinking of Democrats and Republicans, for that matter.
I was going to say, you can't lay that solely at the feet of Democrats. It is the institutional politicians who won't limit won't give themselves term limits, but in 1951 saw fit to limit the terms of a president. Right. So we will see what happens.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here.
You heard it here first. Really? So
make predictions.
I want to also.
What's going to be the next thing that Trump does? Ooh, okay. I don't know anything. It's wild.
Well, and don't forget that we're also building Iron Dome here. That's going to be interesting, don't you think?
What? Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Bro. Okay.
So the Star Wars technology that Reagan talked about in the 80s, that Israel has deployed so successfully against Iran, and is coming here.
All right. I'm into it.
Yeah. Not in Texas, though. Actually, you know what? I think we should put it in the red states and not the blue states. What do you think?
Yes. I think we should put it in contributor states versus receiver states. If you are like Vermont and you take more money out of the federal coffers than you don't get an Iron Dome. But if you contribute more than you take, then you can have the Iron Dome. That's their logic.
You mean like a gold town versus a receiving town, right? That's the whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's segue to one more thing. Everyone wants to know, how is Trump under what authority, right? Because an executive order still has to have some authority, right? What Trump is using that no one's ever used before is the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1970. I think it's 77. 1977. So let's pull that one up because this is really interesting. So the tariffs and the threats and those things and closing the border, what it basically does, and this is a law, right? So he's citing a law and he's using executive authority under this law, which basically says the following, right? That the president exercised to deal with unusual and extraordinary circumstances, which has its source in, outside the United States for national security, foreign policy, or the economy of the United States, and the president declares a national emergency, meaning that one didn't already exist. So you're going to see this, the International, let me get this right, Emergency Economic Powers Act, more and more. But again, it doesn't change the equation. It's still tied to an executive orders, an EO. Didn't like the executive orders under Biden. I like the policy and the effect, but for long-lasting change, long-term change, yes, you have to drain the swamp, and by reworking the federal government and the bureaucracies and the agencies, I think you're going to see that, and he has the authority to do that. They'll find a way to try to challenge him in court, and they'll lose by and large most of the time.
Yeah.
But for long-term systemic change, you must pass and sign legislation.
Yep. That's how a representative republic works, people.
Yes, it is. Wait a minute. We have a slight delay. Why do we have a delay?
I can tell, I'll say something, and then your reaction comes a little bit later. So I can tell there's a little bit of an audio delay. Mm-hmm. Well,
maybe did it ever occur to you that maybe I'm just thinking about what you said, and I have to
possibly
think about it?
It's possible, but
it's always deep.
It is possible, but it's also possible that I'm interrupting you when I'm not intending to.
Yeah, it could be. That's okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we missing?
Yes.
I think I'm good.
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what you had on the list of wins. Did we cover all the wins? Hang on.
Well, all right. Columbia. Let's go through the list.
We talked about Columbia.
Right. Not the university, right, by the way.
Oh, El Salvador. You guys bringing it back to El Salvador.
Wait. We talked about Canada. We talked about Mexico, Panama Canal, El Salvador, Venezuela, UN Human Rights Commission, UNRWA, USAID, Colombia, right? Let me see. Cheat. Federal Anti-Semitism Task Force, and the first state visit. I mean, let's think about that. 15 days in, he visits with Prime Minister Netanyahu, comes to the White House 3.5 freaking years into the Biden administration before arguably our closest ally, certainly in the Middle East, if not the world, Israel, who's fighting our battles for us, gets invited. They deign to invite him to the White House.
Yeah.
I mean, if that isn't a large middle finger to Israel, I don't know what is.
That is no bueno. And just for the record, so now El Salvador has the highest prisoner rate in the world. And it's because they locked everybody up. They just went around and locked freaking everybody up. So I wanted to just bring that back around. I did search it. It was El Salvador.